Hello, everybody, and welcome to Local Hogwash. My name is Kristy Bach.
I'm Michelle Cash.
I'm Reese, and I'm back again.
We had so much fun with Reese. She inserted herself into the chair for our guest. We will be having a guest a little bit later. So she's seat warming.
We've lost control.
Absolutely.
Who's back?
The queen.
Oh, sweetie. That's adorable.
Don't
Crown.
encourage her.
Again. Crowns. Bing. Hey, my crown was the last episode. And I said it first.
Yeah, it's rewind time.
Crown.
Crown.
Bing. Crown.
I had an exciting week.
Oh, yes, you did. You got something big to tell us about.
I came into work yesterday, and I knew that BJ and I were going to talk because he's pretty consistent. I did get fired.
Wait, really?
I am no longer the lead writer for New Snooze.
She got axed from that position.
There's another writer?
No, I'm now the assistant publisher of New Snooze.
Is that better or worse?
It's better.
Oh.
I did not get fired, everybody. I got promoted, I promise. So how was the Summerfest?
So I was signed up for 1 to 3 to sell, was it like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and then 3 to 4 to work the Minji's Pepsi little booth thing or whatever. So I took Sloan with me, and we ended up staying from 1 to 4. Like, we didn't even take a break. And I did absolutely no work.
Sloan did
I
it.
sat on the cooler, and I talked to people, and I sat by the fan, and Sloan slung drinks and took money.
She thought she was getting paid.
She did think she was going to get paid.
And I'm also confused.
Well, to be fair, like, that's her thing now, right? Wasn't she just slinging
Lemonade
drinks
stand,
at the
She and Catherine,
parade?
yes. So, I was like, you're not getting paid. She was like, do what? And I was like, She was like, so what are you going to buy me? And I said, I don't know.
You could have gotten her some Pokemon cards.
Could have. That's her new thing. So,
Does she play Pokemon Go?
We used to.
We used to.
And then I did something, and
It scrambled everything, and we lost all of our Pokemon people.
yeah, she yelled at me. She was pretty upset.
But she's already asked me when we could go back. I told her maybe next year.
To Summerfest?
But it was really good. The bands were so good.
I heard that.
They were really good.
You could hear them from my porch, so I didn't bother.
I was at the beach. So.
And there were a lot of people there.
I saw the pictures really showed a large crowd.
The later in the afternoon it got, the more they started rolling in.
Because it was
We went back for the fireworks, and
there was a whole bunch of
there
people.
were like 2,000 people.
I really desperately
downtown.
wanted to go to the fireworks, but my dog freaked the bleep out, and so I spent the entire time the fireworks were going off on my porch. I could see them. Like,
yeah.
I live 2 blocks from Pearson Park.
So good.
They were excellent, but I spent the majority of the time holding and loving and praying my dog did not have a heart attack.
I had one run off one year.
Yeah, and then...
Didn't you just have one run off?
Yep, another one. He came back though.
Yeah, he went to church.
He went to church.
He needs it.
He needed some Jesus in his life.
Yeah, we all do.
Hey, our dogs got let out for like, you said like
2 hours?
Yeah, like 2 hours while they were gone. And normally they would chew everything up in 10 minutes, but nothing was chewed up except for trash and slings.
I really expected my couch cushions to be.
So Reese also agreed to do something for us.
You got a promotion.
Right.
I did.
And she didn't get fired first.
I never had a job first.
Wowza. You know, you really have a way with words.
Let me find that text message real fast.
You're a digital media specialist.
There we go. Sorry, I was looking for the text message.
So,
In case you didn't know, she and Kristy are text buddies.
There's a train.
we are.
Yeah.
So, fun fact, I made Michelle give me Reese's number after the episode she was a guest on because I was a little concerned for her young life. So
Yes.
I
I had to send a picture of me doing laundry to make sure I was still alive.
I asked her to send me a proof of life picture.
I didn't even brush my hair yet. So she had a picture of me going, with the laundry
basket. So,
Hey, I was glad she was doing laundry. She ain't done any in 2 weeks.
I'm sorry.
So I had reached out to Michelle, and I basically said, look, we need to do something with our social media. We need to factually have a social media presence. Just doing the show is not enough. We have to engage more and talk to the people who watch the show. So I'll be the first to tell you that's not my area of expertise. I've been writing books for 10 years, and I don't think I ever marketed a single one of them.
And I obviously don't know what I'm doing.
Wait, I didn't know you're on Spotify too. Y'all have not posted since like episode 11.
See, it's these types of things that I'm talking
That's
about.
why we need you.
That's why we need you. In a perfect world, I would teach you how to update the website. I would teach you how to update our Anchor, which feeds into Spotify and everything else. I know she's making me twitch too. I keep turning into my chair now. But they're simple things, and they're not hard to do. But it's something that I'm not going to remember, and that's why it's not been updated since like episode 11.
I mean, you're an assistant publisher now.
Right, I'm an assistant publisher.
But
now.
she's assistant publisher to something that pays her.
Right.
Hey, you know, $7.25 is the minimum wage. I'm just kidding.
That's
You
your
get
mama.
paid in food and shelter.
You can ask to be alive.
If you would like to sponsor us hiring Reese, that would be a great opportunity. As she said, she wants $7.25 an hour.
Yeah.
It should take about maybe an hour a week.
Oh man, I'm supposed to start working 72 hours.
Well, so
she drives a hard
I'll
bargain.
set up her Venmo so you can just Venmo her.
I have
Or
Venmo.
you do? Well, there you go. Well, this is Michael Martin. This is our guest for this week, also known as Car Guy in a Bow Tie.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for
I think-
coming on.
I'd be a little concerned. Cool, but this is the first time we'll have a pleasant conversation about a bow tie.
I'm here to defend the virtues of the bow tie.
Yeah.
I'm originally from the county, Sand Hill area.
Run and tally. How many cars have you sold?
I have no really idea.
I'll just stalk your Instagram later and find
There
out.
you go.
Provide an update.
She'll give you an accurate answer.
I'm confident of
Close.
that. Confident of that. But yeah, I think that it's all about treating people kindly. I mean, and something that always strikes me as odd is people will come and say, I'm so nervous about buying a car. Or buying a car is so intimidating. And you have all the power. All the power. And unless you literally have no form of transportation,
Okay.
you have the control.
I was gonna say, 'cause
And
I've bought cars a couple times, and I've never felt like I had all the power.
You know how I buy a car? I aggravate them to death until they give me what I want, so I leave.
I can see
That's a
that.
good plan.
It works every time.
Well, I mean, if you leave with it, then they actually got what they intended.
I like to think I won.
I'm confident it should.
Yeah.
I don't imagine you've lost yet. You're undefeated.
I've only had 15 cars.
But yeah, but I just think if you treat people right and you have a good product, then everyone is going to win.
If you had to guess, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Michelle, it was not fuzzy.
I swear it's twice. Ask Danny
Yeah,
later.
I'm actually really. I feel like I'm in a really good place right now. I love the people that I work with. I think that Massey's Cordia is a great dealership, but more importantly, I think it's ran by probably the kindest, most ethical man in the automotive industry, Randy Kelly. I mean,
He's sweet.
they don't get better, and he has a team of leadership there that is tremendous. I love Kinston. I mean, if I do, and I've loved it since I was a little boy. I remember as a kid, I grew up in the Sand Hill area, and my family still has a farm there. And Saturdays you came to Kinston, you came to town, and it was it was an exciting time. And I don't think we're that far from being where we were then.
I
agree.
would definitely agree with that. As we've talked about many times, I am so new to Kinston. It will be 3 years in March. So, and one of those years you just take away because of COVID. So, effectively, in a 2-year time period, I've helped with the Barbecue Fest. My son's helped with Barbecue Fest. Like, the Summer Fest was just the other day. there's so much that happens around this town, like going to the boat for breakfast on Saturdays, the fantastic farmers market, the intricate shops that you can go to. Like, I love Leon Thomas Treasures. I think that is an amazing place.
Leon Thomas exists because Tanya Adams cares.
I love Tanya. Like,
The end.
you will find no better person.
You know, and for better or worse, if you care, you're probably going to be controversial in some way. You're probably going to, you know, evoke emotions in people. But guess what? That's what creates change. That's what moves the ball down the field. And thank goodness there are people who are willing to do that.
Finally, somebody's listening to us.
Again, we would just like to reiterate that there are a couple council positions
2.
and a mayoral position open for the
1.
city of Kinston.
Well, duh.
If you would
1.
like, if you would like to file for those positions, it is open right now. Well, not right now because the office is closed.
Meow.
It'll be open tomorrow morning. And you can file clear through July 16th
at noon. Got it down, Pat.
Put your toes in the water. It's exciting.
Put your name on the line.
I think I'm going to. I mean,
Yes.
in fact, it's not a thing. I mean, Friday. I think it is.
Well, we'll probably be sending this out on Friday, so you'll be good.
Perfect. That's awesome. But, you know, I think that, like I said earlier, I genuinely feel like it's a time in the life of our city where opportunity presents itself every day.
Oh, I agree with that.
And I think that we need people who, and I'll readily admit, I view Kinston and Lenore County through rose-colored glasses, but that's okay. It's good.
Yeah.
There's no shame in that.
If you only saw the negativity of a city, then you would not want. You know what? I'm just going to interrupt myself and say here's a prime example. In Chicago, over the 4th of July weekend, over 100 humans were shot. 100 humans were shot in
How
Chicago.
many killed?
It was like 19. I'm not saying that leadership has anything to do with that. I'm not smart enough to make those connections. But I will say that in one community in this country, 100 people were shot in a 3-day period. Or maybe 4 because it's a holiday weekend. But that is heinous. That is all I know about Chicago. That's it. Everything I know about Chicago is the bad news that gets reported. There's a reason that News doesn't report every time there's a crime that happens. One, it's none of our business. If it's just something between 2 people, or if it doesn't benefit the community to know, we don't need to report it. And I love that we're like that, because you don't want the perception of Kinston to be what I believe about Chicago.
Yeah.
So it's perfectly fine to look at something through rose-colored glasses, because part of that is true. It's true that we have a lot to do in this town. It's true that the people in this town are amazing. It's true that if you would volunteer for 5 minutes, you would meet some of those people.
Kinston is one of those places that it can be as much or as little as you want it to be. And if you're willing to participate, there's something for everyone every night of the week.
There is.
And if you're not willing to participate, then you really do not need a mechanism to express your views, because you're not. If you're not willing to be part of a solution, then don't complain about a problem.
Could not have built a better guest.
you did.
Mostly because he's saying what I've said forever.
It's so important for people to say, you know what, I believe it can be better. I believe, not just that, I believe I can help it get better. If I'm being real honest with myself, there is somebody else I'm genuinely hoping runs for mayor. And
I've already told you I can't do it.
I know, but this time I wasn't talking about you.
It's not all about me.
But it's your show. You can tell it how you want to. I'm hoping she runs. I'm praying she runs. I think if she were to run, the city would be in hands. I love an empowered woman. I love when a woman can stand up, even when she's going against the grain, as we've seen this year. I've reported about it not just once, but multiple times. If I could pick my dream candidate, it would be Felicia Solomon.
I think that Felicia is an outstanding person. I think that I'm a fan of our current mayor. I think Don Terrio is a friend of mine, and I think he's a good person. I genuinely
I would
do.
agree with that. He is a very good person.
And I think 4 more years will be a good opportunity for both personal, professional, and opportunity to grow in the position. I think that I think Don Terry's a great guy. And he looks good in a bow tie. So I mean, everybody looks good in a bow tie.
No, I think it's wonderful that we can sit at a table and have a discussion like this, and
We're still going to be
and
friends
still we're
afterwards.
going to be friends after, right?
Well, I think that in a lot of ways is why I'm running, and it's the thing. When Michelle and I were discussing me joining you guys this evening, I told her, I was like, I don't think we probably align, in terms of our political philosophy, but I think where we've
Michelle
lost,
never do.
but I think where we've lost sight as a country, and not just in terms of people who hold political office, although they have exemplified that in a most foul manner, is that there's no longer quality conversations between people who don't agree and don't view that person differently when the conversation's over.
Exactly.
I know that you're a good person.
Oh,
I know that I know that your belief system comes from a genuine place, and it comes from a place that that there was a lot of care, there was a lot of thought that goes into what makes your belief system. And I remember somewhere along the way, someone telling me how stupid I was for what I thought politically. And I'm like, damn, Bo, where have you been my whole life? I mean, if you'd just told me I was stupid 15 years ago, things would have been a lot easier for me.
Right?
But and sadly, that's the direction that we've gone. And
I blame social media for that, if I'm being very honest, because it is so easy to hide behind words. When I put something out in news, I'm accountable to those words, every single one of them. I know when you tell me they're misspelled. I know when you tell me something's out of order, or I'm accountable at that level. I'm accountable for what goes in them. I'm accountable for the grammatical accuracy that they're put in there. When you post something on Facebook or Instagram or wherever, you're not accountable to that.
Well, and to me, and we've all used the phrase, and I think that it's a pretty negligent phrase, is fake news. We've all used it, and we'll all continue to use it, and it's the world that we live in today. But when you say fake news, in my mind, you discredit sources across the board. You're not just slandering your chosen network or your chosen source that you are angry at that time, but you're also slandering the hardworking men and women who work for major news networks or local news sources. And there's a lot of hard work, there's a lot of education that goes into having the right to provide you with accurate information. And it's disgusting to discredit. I mean, because you don't just simply discredit X news network, you discredit all providers.
And I think it's also important to reiterate, and we've had this conversation before, there's a difference between news and opinion, and there always has been. Your local news on 12 and 9 and 7, I don't actually have cable, so I have no idea what numbers I just said.
That's right.
12, 9, 7, yeah, absolutely.
They're accountable to you, they're accountable to their stakeholders, but if something were to blow up because it was inaccurate, or they were just wrong, or it was too opinionated, they're accountable. Your cable networks, ABC, NBC, all of those, Fox, CNN, blah, 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 you have to stop taking their opinions as fact. And don't wield them as weapons. Wielding someone else's opinion is a very, very dangerous line to find yourself in. So this has been a lot of fun.
Really? And we're still going to be friends after this is over.
I mean, you might be. I might not be. Just kidding, buddy.
Dang it. You had me going there for a minute.
Your eyes followed us, Mom.
I was trying to get your eyes on Queen Street or whatever street.
We are so glad you came and hung out with us today.
It's a good time. You guys are a lot of fun. I
Thanks.
would love to come back and visit with
Tell
you
your
again
friends.
sometime.
We
Tell your
would
friends.
love.
All the cool kids are doing it.
Yes. And I will reiterate, if you want to sponsor our show so that we can have more guests and do more things
Silence.
and
Hitting in
go
here.
live.
More haberdashers.
More haberdashers. I love that word.
Me
good
too.
one.
It's like Boulder Dash. I just like saying it. We would love to have you help us grow. If you'd like to be a guest on our show, we do have upcoming dates in October. Just to reiterate, our daddies are coming in August, so that's going to be so epically awkward.
Can't wait for that one.
I know.
Daddy's coming.
Yeah, mine and hers. We want to thank BJ
The
Murphy for
sunglasses.
letting us use the studio and Magic Mile Media for all that we've been able to accomplish so far. We also want to thank Brandon Potter for our wonderful logo and these adorable little pigs. I absolutely love them.
Danny Perez, my main man.
So
He doesn't agree with that.
I still am jealous that Danny talks to my child, and he's never said more than like 3 words in one sentence to me.
I quit talking to Danny because he always gets me.
He does. He gets you.
Last week he said, well, I said, Danny, how are you today? He's like, good. How are you? I said, all right. He said, you don't look too good.
Stone cold.
I said, thanks, friend.
Yes.
And then he looked at me, he's like,
I do want to give a shout out to my son who went and looked at a college today. I'm so, so, so proud of the man he is becoming. And the knowledge that I didn't have that much to do with it is pretty strong. Because he's about as far from me as you can get. Next week it will be Michelle and I.
can't wait.
All right. Any last words?
Thanks for having me. This is a lot of fun.
Michael Martin for City Council.
Michael Martin for City Council, everybody.
Back the bow tie.
Better together.
Better together.
That's even better. Bye.
Bye, everybody.